Jadon Sancho. What happened, broski?
I think Jadon Sancho, has maybe cemented his place as the worst signing in Manchester United history.
Couldn't give a toss about Jadon Sancho. It bores me to tears. Jadon Sancho's career highlights are going to be transfer stories. Like, they're not on the pitch.
Jadon Sancho is one of the most creative players I've ever seen. They were calling him the English Neymar. You gotta understand, back in the day, this guy was the coldest baller. Him and Reece Nelson, that was the big duo. Kennington, where they started, South London's finest. And Sancho was the first English player to ever go abroad, really creating a pathway for young English footballers. The likes of Giddens, the likes of Jude Bellingham, the likes of Jode, the likes of Nani Madueke. Sancho was the blueprint. Him and Reece Nelson in the English academies, those highlight tapes when they were younger was unreal. Sancho was easily one of the most talented players I've ever seen at youth level. The creativity, the skills, the swagger. He was really the guy. You gotta understand, this is South London's finest, a place where a lot of kids don't make it out. And he was the golden child, not just from his hood, but for English football in general. A kid from the cages, becoming one of the most talented players in the world. When he was at Manchester City, there was a boatload of talent. Him, Phil Foden, Brahim Diaz. But with him, he stood out. He left Manchester City to look for game time, and at the time, it was a big step. Rather than waiting for first-team football in the luxury academies, he went to go looking for first-team football in a foreign country. And at that time, it was admirable. At Manchester City, he had it easy under Pep Guardiola, training with some of the best players in the world, but that wasn't good enough for him. He wanted first-team football, and now. So he left. He left to Borussia Dortmund and bet on himself, and the rest is history. This guy was killing Germany. A boy from South London, tearing the Bundesliga apart. The guy who had double digits in goals and assists, just like Messi. Him and Messi were the only players in Europe at the time to do something like that, which is outrageous to think about. But in Germany, he had everything. The skill moves, the high socks, the swag, the high top, the light skin tax. He was the guy in Germany, and that partnership with Erling Haaland was an incredible watch to see. They gave him number 7 for a reason. Jadon Sancho was the most talked about youngster in the world, and rightly so. He performed on the biggest stages, the Champions League, the Bundesliga, week in, week out. And then he got one of the biggest opportunities to represent his nation at the Euros. But then we all know what happened next, the missed penalty. And then he gets that big money move to Manchester United. And I honestly think this is a bit of an underrated season for him. Now, if we're ranking this in terms of goals and assists, wasn't the greatest, especially for a player that cost £80 million. But you could clearly see he had qualities in him. You could clearly see he was a great dribbler, and he was one of the only shining lights in that Manchester United squad. And then Ten Hag came in, and it started off well. He scored against Liverpool, scored against Leicester, and it looked like he had an opportunity to come back into the England squad. Eventually, things got rough, and Jadon Sancho missed out on the World Cup squad. Everybody was taking the piss out of him, and after getting trolled on social media, it clearly took a hit to him, because we didn't see Jadon Sancho for the next 4 months. Sancho got sent to the mountains. Ten Hag deadass sent this nigga to Holland, training with the monks. But eventually he came back, and he finished the season with the team. And that season wasn't the greatest. But we go again. The third season with Manchester United, the last one with Ten Hag, ended in pure disaster. Jadon Sancho wasn't selected to the squad against Arsenal, and Ten Hag said in a press conference that Jadon Sancho didn't do enough in training. Sancho went on Twitter and basically told Ten Hag this nigga's talking out of his ass. Okay, he didn't say that, but you know what I mean. But in hindsight, that's what he said. And this went on for months. I mean, we didn't see Sancho for the next 4 months. Sancho refused to apologize. Ten Hag refused to put him in the matchday squad, and those two, who clearly had a good relationship because he sent him to Holland in order to train, to get away from all the spotlight, but clearly that relationship was dead, and Sancho didn't apologize. So the only thing they could have done is send him on loan at Dortmund, where guess what? He balled out. Put Jadon Sancho in the black and yellow colors, and he's back to being the best. And you know what's crazy to think about in hindsight? Jadon Sancho ripped apart Nuno Mendes in the Champions League semifinals. Nuno Mendes, who is easily the best left back in the world, but who had someone like Jadon Malik Sancho, the guy who was dead at Manchester United, ripping this guy, tying Neymar's record for the most take-ons in a Champions League game. Man's like, Jadon, yo, stop playing with Jadon Sancho, nigga. But you can see there was still a player in Sancho. No wonder Chelsea took a chance on him and signed him on a loan deal. And honestly, in the beginning, it was perfect. First 3 games, first 3 assists. Guy was back home in London, but eventually it became stale. They didn't really offer much going forward. And obviously he got to leave with a little European Cup. That's about it. He didn't do enough for Chelsea to buy him. And that's honestly Sancho's career in the Premier League. He just doesn't do enough. And eventually this season has been probably the worst season yet. In the summer transfer window, there was a couple teams that came in sniffing for Jadon Sancho. The likes of Roma, the likes of Juventus, big football clubs, but he did not want to leave Manchester United because he's on 300k a week. And at first, you would call him crazy, but you realize who he's dating. Sweetie's an expensive woman. I ain't mad at it. And then you found out he's a goddamn client, and he got her name tattooed, and then got sent to Birmingham. I don't know which one's worse. Now you got Jadon Sancho playing for Aston Villa, getting subbed in, and then getting subbed right back out. And this is just a rock bottom moment for Sancho. Jadon Sancho was easily one of my favorite players growing up. With Jadon Sancho, it feels like he does a whole lot of nothing. Jadon Sancho has no urgency in the final third. Jadon Sancho plays football like he's wearing Air Forces, and he's not trying to crease them. Sancho lacks that killer mentality, especially as a forward, constantly beating his fullback every time he gets the ball. He doesn't have that in his game. Now, I don't think Jadon Sancho is built for Premier League football. He's not fast whatsoever. He's not really the strongest, but there's no energy with him. That's why Jadon Sancho was incredible in Germany. The pace is a lot slower. He's playing against weaker competition. One thing about Jadon Sancho is I noticed I feel like he's a bit of a passenger. The guy costs $80 million. You are supposed to be a superstar, yet I feel like he's very passive at times. Sancho is a very quiet player. He's a very safe player, and for $80 million, you are expected a superstar. I feel like Jadon Sancho has lost the hunger for football. He was a player that lacked a little bit of discipline, coming late to training, constantly playing FIFA until late nights. I think Jadon Sancho should go play in Serie A or La Liga, a league that's a lot more slower, because this boy has a lot of talent. You don't go from being the top of the world, getting 20 goals and 20 assists, and just being a crap player. That doesn't work like that. Clearly, there's a player in him. I think he's lost his way. Look at his competition on the wing. Anthony, this guy is killing La Liga. Sancho, that could be you, broski. Don't tell me Anthony's better than Jadon Sancho. That could be you. I still believe there's a player in Jadon Sancho. I mean, I hope so. I really hope so, because what I saw growing up was a brilliant footballer, and I still think he has that ability. It's just mentally, do I think he still has that? I don't know, but that's a question for you guys to decide. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.